Hey, welcome to the Kind of City Podcast. I'm your host, Knowledge, and who do I have sitting to my left?
Miss EP?
The voice of reason today? I mean, you got your war hat on, so...
We'll see.
Okay, no, I'm nervous. All right, who do I got sitting across from me?
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, DJ B. Wood, a.k.a. I want smoke with everybody.
Uh-oh.
You want smoke with everybody?
Everybody.
Just to set the
Not
tone.
everybody. Everybody.
The whole city.
The whole kit and
world.
caboodle.
Dog, you can't say you won't smoke with people and then use phrases like kid and caboodle, dog.
I'm trying to keep it clean for the people.
We ain't never-
Hey, we about to start a new year. I'm trying to, Jesus knows my heart.
trying to go in on the right
I'm
foot,
trying to go in on the right foot.
even if that foot is in somebody's ass.
Look, I got my prayer cloth with me. I'm prayed up. So, we're going to start this year off right.
Yo, didn't somebody have a song called I Stay Prayed Up? Was that Candy?
I think so.
I think that was Candy. But you know what's funny? Candy, I like Candy's music, but like her voice really ain't that strong. She writes good, catchy songs.
I don't even know who you're talking about right now.
Candy from Real Housewives.
Candy.
You
Oh,
get-
never
From
mind.
Escape.
I'm gonna just check out right here.
All right, I'm gonna leave that alone. So first of all, we're gonna set this. We're gonna start this thing off right. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Yes, the Crimson Tide did their thing last night. Going to the championship, beat Oklahoma. I can't take anything away from Oklahoma though, because Oklahoma came in that game. At the end of the first half, it was like 28-10.
Yeah.
And-
So when you start off losing to Alabama 21-0, just pack it up. It ain't gonna be the miraculous comeback.
Nick Saban is 105-1 when he has a 21-point lead, I think.
Look, I'm not a fan of Alabama football. I'm not a fan of Nick Saban, but he wins and it works. God bless him. Get your money.
And that's how it goes.
That's how it is. I mean,
Speaking of which, who do your Ravens play today?
my Ravens play the Lord Jesus, the Cleveland Browns, aka that team from the Factory of Sadness.
Oh,
The
gosh.
Factory of
The
Sadness?
Factory of Sadness. There is a YouTube video of a guy who is reportedly a Cleveland Browns fan standing outside the stadium yelling and cursing because it is a factory of sadness. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend you look it up.
Wow. Well, I mean, you're calling, the Brown Stadium the Factory of Sadness, but we got a sad story coming out of Baltimore right now. I don't know if it's sad or impressive. Like, I'm not quite sure which one it is. But the Baltimore PD had a gun buyback a couple weeks ago. And somebody turned in a rocket launcher, dog.
Hey, shout out to Baltimore. First of all, that's my hometown. That's how we do things, man. Either go big or go home. That's be more.
So they were offering between $25 and $500 for every gun that was brought in, right? Which I think it's interesting that those are the ranges of prices. But somebody brought in an AT-4. For those of you who are military or ex-military, listen to this. AT-4 is an anti-tank weapon. It's not a reusable weapon. It's a single-fire weapon. Now the tubes themselves can be recycled and repackaged, but that has to be done by the manufacturer. The Army does not teach you to recycle those tubes. You fire that weapon and you drop it and go, preferably in the back of a Humvee. But it's a shoulder held weapon. Like, you put the AT-4 on your shoulder and you fire. It's what most people call a bazooka. It's not an RPG gun like you see in the movies sometimes. It really is like a bazooka. Like, that's what people call a bazooka on the streets. But yeah, somebody turned one of those in. First of all,
I'm assuming it been used already.
I would like
Don't
to
assume.
hope.
Don't
No, I'm
assume.
saying I would think that that's the only reason why they would turn it
Well,
in.
look
It's like
at-
I already used it before, and we
Just-
can't use it again.
First of all,
Well-
it's Baltimore. Don't ever assume.
Yeah.
No, that's why I assume it's been used already.
Like I said, it's Baltimore. Don't ever assume.
Looking at the rocket launcher itself, it's in good condition. I do think that I do think that the round that was in it had been expended. So maybe somebody that was in that was in the military found an expended AT-4 and decided to sell it on the street, make some extra money or something like that, or some guy that was getting out. just to be clear with y'all, not everybody in the military is there for the right reasons. Number one, and not everybody in the military is some noble patriot. Okay, some of these guys are getting over. Just as Oliver North. Now, to have an AT-4 in your house, I'm pretty sure. First of all, you can't buy one as a civilian. You can't go into a store and say, "Hey, hey, I want to buy an AT-4." You can't. Like, period. This is a restricted weapon that you can't get even with a Class 3 license. A Class 3 federal firearms license allows you to have fully automatic weapons. What is that Class 4? It's one of them. But it's a top tier class weapon. This, you can't even get that with that license as a civilian. Now, you can have disabled military memorabilia for collector's purposes, but it has to be verified as fully disabled. For example, if you're a collector of military memorabilia, you can actually pour concrete into an AT-4 tube and show the ATF, say, hey, this is non-functional. It'll never be functional. It's filled with concrete. I could never make this thing work again. And then you have to go through about 6 months of paperwork to actually get something like that done. And it has to be held in a trust somewhere before they'll allow you to have it. For somebody to just bring an AT-4 tube into Baltimore PD, Baltimore has a problem, and they don't even realize it at this point, I think.
Hey, man, you call it a problem. I just call it a Tuesday. I mean, that's how Baltimore rolls, man. That's how. I mean, here's the thing. First of all, I want to thank you for the context and the background. You know, for all of us law-abiding citizens and you know, people on the straight and narrow. Like I said, it's a new year. We're trying to start this thing off right, but Baltimore is a different place, man. Like,
Baltimore is a different planet.
It is. And you know, it's one of those places where either you love it or you hate it. And me being from there, that's my home. It'll always be my home. You know, I've lived other places, but those are just been places where I live. Baltimore is my home. It is a unique. It is just a unique diamond on the East Coast. Now,
it's a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, well, hey, diamond nonetheless. But here's the thing: is that you're making a lot of assumptions about, you know, people are actually going to follow the proper protocols and and go through the, you know, the proper channels and do all the pouring the concrete and all and do it. No, this is Baltimore, dog. Like, none of those rules necessarily need to apply here.
And see, the thing is, Maryland gun laws are so strict. Like, I don't when I ride through Maryland, I don't stop. Like, I get gas in Virginia, and I don't stop again until I get to Delaware.
That's right, because, you know, first of all, you can't have a firearm in D.C.
Right.
That's a big no-no. And
then
then
Maryland
has very strict laws.
Maryland doesn't care about anybody's concealed carry permit.
Right. And so, you know, it's a whole separate animal. But, you know, like I said, man, it's Baltimore. You don't know what you're going to get. Like, and let me just put it this way: if there's any place in the United States where you tell me that I might find someone with an AT-4 in their possession, Baltimore would not be one of the places that surprises me.
Well, yeah, Baltimore,
you know,
Chicago.
Yeah, why we always gotta throw Chicago in there, man?
Well, I'm throwing Chicago in because, like, they've literally
you know who
found.
You sound like.
Well, I know, but they've literally found rocket launchers in Chicago.
Fair enough.
That's why I said Chicago,
right.
not because I'm a Trump supporter.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, but truth be told, you know, that's just Baltimore, man.
You know where I would be surprised to find a rocket launcher, and this might surprise you for me to say it, New York.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
I would actually be surprised to find one there because, number one, there's no there's no like Fort Drum, New York is like kind of far from New York City, number one. And number two, where you gonna hide it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it.
Well,
Baltimore still has enough space for you to walk somewhere with an AT-4 or walk into a building with an AT-4 and 1 million people not see you. New York, you walk into a building with an AT-4, 50 people gonna see you, and 30 of them might be snitching.
Yeah, but we also, you know, the one thing about New York, I would say I see your point, but New York is just the potluck of everything.
Yeah, you're right.
You can find anything you want on this planet. You can find in New York. Some way, somehow, somebody's got to connect. You know, it's out there for consumption if you want it.
When I found out they had heroin-laced weed in New York, I was like, I'm never going back.
Hey.
Anyway, that's another story, though. We're not going to get into that because the opioid
New year.
Yeah,
But quick question though. So you said they were paying between?
$25 and $500.
So they have these, I guess, weapon roundups, and they pay the public.
They paid the
turn
public
in?
to get these weapons back. Now, they allegedly, and this is what happens with gun buybacks all over the country, they allegedly destroy the weapons.
Mm.
Do I think they actually destroy them? No. Do I think they end up as throwaway guns for dirty cops sometimes? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that they ship them to somebody to destroy them and somehow they end up in our neighborhoods again? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that stuff like that happens. I really do. Now I have seen a weapon that Charlotte PD has destroyed in a situation. I have an acquaintance, a friend actually, a good friend actually, who caught a charge, a stupid charge. He panicked. He had a legal firearm. His firearm was legal. He caught a stupid charge. The judge agreed to dismiss the charge if he allowed the firearm to be destroyed, and he did. And when he got the firearm back, somebody literally had blown a hole through the barrel. And so that's how they allegedly destroy these weapons sometimes. Other places melt them down. Let's be perfectly honest. You're not melting down a perfectly good firearm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these guys, people turn in these guns. You know, it's a stolen gun, a defaced serial number. The cops aren't just getting rid of those.
How'd you blow a hole through a barrel?
There are different ways. Acetylene torch. You can
So it's just not functional anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's no longer. No, you can't rack around in that because you can't pull the slide back anymore in some cases. You can take an acetylene torch to it. You can literally drill a big enough hole through the barrel and the casing and the slide, and that firearm will never work
So
again.
why would you want it back?
Well, they gave it back to him because it was technically still his property.
It's trash.
Yeah, it's a great paperweight. It's a great story. But, but this guy's still able to legally carry his firearms and legally able to carry that concealed firearm. It's just that the judge was like, okay, this is going to teach you a lesson. That's, $400 down the drain on this particular pistol. So
Okay.
now, so what they were taking was like, to get the $500. So they paid this guy $500 for this, expended HE4. But it was semi-automatic rifles that got $250, and fully automatic they got $500. What I think that they're doing is that if you show up with a fully automatic rifle and take $500 for it, of course they're taking your name, your identification, they're running your picture through different things.
Mm-hmm.
They say that you don't have a, they say that it's kind of an amnesty type thing that you're not going to be charged.
Yeah.
Nah, they putting your name on a list somewhere, bro.
I mean, I would assume if you have one, you probably have another one.
For the
Or
sake,
the likelihood of you having another one.
Of you having another
Mhm.
one. I don't know anybody that has a gun that they can give away that doesn't have at least 2 to 3 more.
Mm-hmm. You just might need a little extra money in your pocket. Yeah.
Now, one lady actually did admit that she was going to the gun buyback. She was turning in a gun so she could get the money and buy a bigger gun.
I ain't mad at that.
I'm not either. I'm not mad at this sister. I was like, if Charlotte PD had a gun buyback right now and they was offering like, $150 flat, I got a pistol that I would take down there and use that to put with some more money and get the pistol I want. I'm just being honest.
I want to go get my black and pink one.
Moving right along. So speaking of wild stuff that happens, we've always talked about how wild certain cities are, but it's one state in general that takes the cake for wild shit.
Okay.
Florida.
Florida, man.
Florida woman
Ah.
this time. Collier County deputies arrested Lita Crisostomo on charges including aggravated assault and armed robbery because she allegedly held up a postal worker with a toy gun, and when the police found her, they responded to reports of a woman threatening people with a weapon and found her riding a tricycle holding what appeared to be a black and silver gun that turned out to be a toy. So she held up a postal worker and rode off on a tricycle. Lita Crisostomo, Florida woman.
I need to know what Lita got.
Flocka?
I mean,
She was smoking that shit.
but I mean, if she got some packages that she was probably gonna open and sell,
I mean,
but if you
okay,
got a
so
bunch of
this-
envelopes,
Here's the thing, though. I could see if it was like Christmas Eve, 23rd, 22nd, even all the way back to like the 18th. This happened on the 27th.
Late Christmas gifts.
Nah, bro. I ain't buying it.
It's
I ain't
just
buying
Florida.
it. It's Florida, bro.
Okay.
I ain't buying it. You know.
It's just Florida. I mean, Florida is basically just a state we can annex back.
I blame the water. What?
Why do you blame the water? Like I'm waiting on your explanation for
I
that.
just think all of it is probably like still. I don't know. No matter where you are, you probably have some kind of remnants of like swamp water or something.
Well, no, I think that considering the amount of cocaine that went through Florida in the 80s,
Yeah.
I think that there's probably remnants of cocaine on
Speak on it.
everything
Yeah,
that gets
probably
touched
so.
in Florida. So I think that may have something to do with it. But I've never known Florida. Well, never mind. I can't say that. I was going to say I've never known cocaine to make people do. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
can't.
never mind.
Yeah. Cocaine's a hell
Hell
of
of
a
a
drug. You know what I'm saying? You know, just the people I know now that do cocaine, like, I'm like, bruh, like, did you think about this before you did it? Like, what was your
I'm
motivation?
pretty sure they have a big population of people who may not have done it, but they're affected by it, like their parents.
So my sister has this theory.
Mhm.
Shout out to Jules. We've had her on the show before. We've called her in for the show. She has this theory that what we're seeing now are the effects of crack in the 80s and early 90s. She said a lot of the people that we see in the news and a lot of people that we're dealing with quite literally were born addicted to crack
Or not just crack.
or just any sort of, narcotic. And they didn't, and sometimes, and crack and addiction of all kinds manifests itself in different ways. And so people were born addicted to these substances and they went through withdrawal as children and they found something else to supplement that addiction in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Or in some cases, they were still, slowly being addicted to it by virtue of the things that were in their surrounding. Because we didn't know how crack affect. Like, okay, so there are tales and tales and tales of the first crack dealers, the first people that was on the block slanging crack, eventually becoming addicts, not because they smoked the narcotic, but because they were handling it without gloves.
Mhm.
And so, who's to say what that residue and maybe even the money that was being handled and passed back and forth in those neighborhoods and communities had on it, in addition to some of these other drugs and chemicals and narcotics that may be in the air and in the water and in the bloodstream and all that. Like, so we don't know. And so my sister has this theory that people are literally around here addicted to certain substances and don't know it, or are or suffering from the lasting after effects of it having been in their bloodstream as children or even young adults.
Right, and then you also got the fact that we had the crack babies in the back in that time.
Yeah, and they had
you
to
know,
have children eventually.
right, and so it's basically just the evolution of man manifesting itself through the drug trade. I mean, this is
Right.
I,
I've always said that crack is not just a narcotic, but also a demon. I say people thought I was joking when I said that. I said no. Like, you look at people who are on crack, you look at people who are on meth, you look at people who are on Flocka. Like, I've seen somebody on Flocka, and you think of how people look when they've smoked Flocka, meth, heroin. Oh my God, heroin is.
What is Flocka for the people who don't know?
Flocka is a quote unquote new drug that's a hallucinogen that turns people into zombies, and it has been in Florida and out on the West Coast. It has been kind of linked to, you remember when people were like eating people's faces a couple years back, like 5 or 6 years back? Those were people who were addicted to Flocka. They were literally zombies. And if you look, like, there are people who, like, crackhead. You see a crackhead. Crackheads, be hyper and be zoned out. Heroin addicts do, the dope fiend lean. They be drooling. Flocka manifests itself in both ways. Flocka will make you hyper, but it will also make you do that real lethargic drool at the same time. And if you look at people who are on Flocka and heroin, and you look at shows like movies like The Exorcist, and people who are like supposedly inhabited or possessed, the similarities are striking. And having seen people, and I'm a spiritual person. I've seen people who have been possessed by different spirits, different demons. I believe that all these drugs are gateways to stuff like that. I think the safest narcotic is marijuana. But even marijuana, I think, opens your consciousness. The sativa strains of marijuana, I think, open your consciousness in a gentle way to bring you to a certain point of clarity. I think that some of these other drugs, specifically the ones that are much more man-made, such as flocka, such as crack, which is bonded with with man-made things, a lot of times, and cut with man-made stuff. This fentanyl shit, all of that. I think that all of these things are gateways to, certain spiritual realms. And I don't want to get too deep on this, but I think it's some shit that we really need to examine from both a scientific as well as a spiritual standpoint.
Yeah, I think that's been done already, though. But of course, we wouldn't have that information, and
Right.
of course, we don't seek it either.
Right. And I'm not willing to try any of these drugs to get firsthand experience.
Look,
Nah,
Nancy
I pass.
Reagan was onto something when she had the just say no.
Shit.
Yeah,
But
Just Say No gave us the crack epidemic. To be honest.
but my thing is, like, of course, your average Joe back on 34th Street didn't invent
Or in the words
You
of
know
Bobby
what I'm
Blue Land, across 110th Street.
the dude across 110th Street did not invent whatever the equation is to create, the drug.
And see, my
And
thought
so,
pro-
like, something like flocka,
I've
a new
always
day
said-
drug.
I've
Where did
always
it come
said
from?
that- I've always said that crack and meth were created by somebody with money to blow, time to spare, and knowledge of scientific and chemical compounds.
Mhm.
Your average cocaine dealer back then in the 70s, 80s was not going to fuck up his package by specifically cooking it with baking soda. You might stretch your work with baking soda, but to stretch it and then and cook it like that, or even freebase it like that and use it to package wholesale quantities like that and sell it, nobody's thinking like that unless you have coke to blow. Point blank period. I'm not gonna get into this the economics of coke and dealing drugs, but there were no street level dealers and no kingpin level dealers who were out there fucking up their packages like that. I don't care if you was Nicky Barnes, Frank Lucas was a heroin guy. Nicky Barnes was a heroin guy. Nobody back then that was selling coke, nobody was fucking up their packages like that. I'm sorry, like nobody's fucking their packages up now like that.
I don't think it was invented for financial gain.
I think
Period.
I firmly believe Freeway Ricky Ross when he says that Danilo Blandon and the rest of those Contras, the Nicaraguan Contras, were in cahoots with the American government, including Oliver North, who I mentioned earlier. And I firmly believe that the CIA was pumping that shit into South Central Los Angeles, knowing that it would spread throughout the rest of the country. You had to spread it through one of two places at that time. It was either going to be L.A. or it was going to be New York. And it took some time to get to New York. But, and this is just another theory I have, I think that AIDS was man-made, and I think they dropped it in New York to see where it was going to go.
Yeah.
And it spread across the country.
I think a lot of things are just scientific experiments on people.
right,
As a whole.
we've seen it before with the whole
Tuskegee
tea-
experiment,
Yeah.
There we go.
But like crack, you get to watch that for like generations beyond. Like you mentioned earlier, with kids. If let's say my parent didn't do crack, but she was a crack product,
She was crack adjacent.
right? Okay, so she then has me. I have side effects from it because
Yeah.
of the side effects that she has, and you get to watch that continuously just go further and further and further.
I'm paying specifically close attention to Flint.
Yeah,
That wasn't. First of all, I don't think that was just government corruption. I think that let's not get too deep into conspiracy theories. Let's move on to
I
some
love
more,
conspiracy theories.
because we'll turn into a whole YouTube video in this motherfucker. You know what I'm
Hey.
saying?
Cue the music,
Hey,
the X Files music.
right? or the Unsolved Mysteries theme song.
Yes.
You know they got Unsolved Mysteries on Hulu now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not watching that shit. That shit still scares me to this day.
I can only watch it during daytime hours.
Bird Box. Now you fell asleep on Bird Box.
Fuck Bird Box.
Bird Box was scary as shit to me.
We thought we were gonna fall asleep. We were like, we're not gonna watch it this late. We're gonna fall asleep. That movie will have you
stayed the hell up.
wide-eyed the entire
I'm
time.
gonna have to catch it. Everybody keeps talking about it, but I
was anti-watching it at first, just because I was like, it's a lot of hype. It won't
But
be
then while
good.
we was watching the game, somebody else came through and told us we should watch it. One of the people
Right.
that was there. And so we watched it. I actually enjoyed it. People were saying they didn't like it because they didn't like the ending. I guess they wanted people to die or to be gory, but I liked it.
I
really
felt like it
liked
was a little drawn out. It was longer than what it needed to be.
It was very drawn. It could have been a 45 minutes to an hour short,
Yeah.
but it was 2 hours and 3 minutes. It did drag on. I did appreciate the context of everything.
Just for clarity, is really not, because I was under the impression it was like some kind of demonic movie or something about some supernatural spirit. It's not.
It's not,
really not.
but it has undertones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I don't like these suspenseful movies where you're sitting on the edge of your seat. It's not for me. But I'll check it out because it's the new wave. So
Yeah.
I'll make sure I check it out. But speaking of which,
we talking about crack babies, right?
well, I mean, we were.
Sorry.
I just wanted to interject one other thing since we were
Mhm.
talking about since we moved on to Bird Box, the new Jordan Peele trailer. Have you?
So you
seen
know what? I haven't watched it yet,
I haven't either.
but I heard he made "I Got Five on It" sound scary.
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes.
That beat though is perfect for it. That deep 808. Dun dun
Oh, you don't even know.
dun dun.
Wow.
Check out the
Dun dun.
check out the trailer.
So shout out to Jordan Peele.
Shout out.
But yeah, so something that's straight out of a scary movie that I couldn't make up not because I'm not creative enough to, but because the truth is stranger than fiction. 3 men were charged Wednesday in a 2017 shooting that left 1 woman dead and 8 wounded at a gender reveal party in Ohio. The grand jury indicted 28-year-old Rashawn Bishop, 23-year-old James Eccles, and 21-year-old Michael Sanan on 22 counts, including murder, aggravated robbery, and cruelty to animals. The gunfire was in a small town about 20 miles northwest of Cincinnati, and it killed 22-year-old Autumn Garrett of Andrews, Indiana. 3 kids and a dog were among the wounded. Police determined the shooting in July 2017 was targeted and drug-related after connecting multiple witnesses to drug rings. Authorities say it took almost a year and a half to make arrests because detectives looked into false leads. Here's the kicker. So, the party was held for 21-year-old Cheyenne Willis, who claimed to have suffered a miscarriage after being shot in the thigh. Investigators later found out that she was not pregnant to begin with. So they was having a gender reveal party for a 21-year-old woman who was claiming to be pregnant and wasn't pregnant.
Were any of the men, like,
No.
the child's father? Well,
No.
the invisible, imaginary child's
No, the
father.
victim was her cousin.
Okay.
And her husband and 2 children were injured in the shooting. So she had 2 other kids.
First of all, there's no reason for gunplay at a gender reveal.
Bro, you shoot up.
Where were they?
This is in Cincinnati.
Oh.
This is northwest of Cincinnati.
Baltimore Light.
This was northwest of Cincinnati, but the woman that was killed was from Indiana. Indiana and Ohio are right there next to each other,
And Kentucky.
and Kentucky.
I don't really know how I feel about it.
So you were
I
never
mean,
pregnant.
I'm sad.
I
that
just don't understand having a gender reveal and not being like. How do you even plan that?
she was mentally
You would
unstable.
have to have you would think that at the point
Did she use
where
like
you're-
an old ultrasound?
right at the point where you're having a gender reveal, you
You
would typically
showing.
show physical evidence of the fact that you were.
Well, if
with
she
child.
was a little
Chunky.
on the heavier side, there's plenty of women who already are kind of wider in the midsection, and so they don't have that round pregnant belly.
Fair enough, but
Hold on, but she was married, which I didn't know. So you married and got 2 kids, and you're to the point where you're gonna have a gender. Had your husband not been to any of the doctor appointments?
look,
Apparently not. And then she got shot in the thigh and claimed to have a miscarriage. And then the investigator said that she was never pregnant to begin with.
You know what? I blame her husband. Sorry. He was cheating. She was trying to save him. She was trying to bring him back. And she lied and said she was pregnant because she thought it was going to save her marriage.
You know what? I'm not going to argue this point.
yep,
Primarily due to the point that I got to go home after this.
yep.
So you know what? You're right. He was cheating. That nigga ain't shit.
But
No, seriously. You know, there's like a classic thing that a lot of people say as soon as a dude want to leave, then a woman fall out. I'm pregnant and you just going to leave me?
Yeah, that's
Is she
happened to me.
really
I
not
was
like pregnant?
Bitch, you
Yeah.
not-
but who
Right.
are you robbing at a gender reveal?
Well, they wasn't robbing. It was probably a drive-by. They said it was drug-related.
Uh,
Yeah. So
Y'all better stop putting y'all location on Facebook and the Snapchatting.
Yeah.
all the Insta snapping and
All
and,
that,
and,
yeah.
and snap booking.
Especially if you got beef with somebody. I mean, you just told them
Hey.
where you were. It's-
We need to go back to living on the low. Just-
yeah.
The world I know is a world too slow.
Mm.
Let's not go there. Anyway, so yeah. Speaking of social media phenomenons and stuff going viral,
Oh gosh.
so the makers of Fortnite are being sued again. So first, it was 2 Milli who sued them for using the Milli Rock in the video game as one of the character emotes. Carlton, Alfonso Ribeiro, sued them for using the Carlton dance as one of these special character emotes in Fortnite. And now the white kid that made up the floss, you know, the dance that all the kids are doing with their arms and hips, he's suing them now.
I mean, get your piece of the bag, man. I can't, because as much money now. I honestly cannot tell you what Fortnite even is. Excuse me. I know it's probably like, oh my gosh, how could she? I don't know what it is.
It's all right. We watched.
I mean,
We
I
all
know it's a
walked around.
game, but I don't know exactly like the ins and outs of it. So, for it to be as popular as it is and as much money is behind it, if you use something of mine, I'm probably like, yo, run me a little piece,
You gotta cut me some kind of check.
just something.
But here's what I've noticed. Like, and there was another podcast that brought this up that I would listen to. And they said, do you notice that black culture is the only culture that gets shamed for suing somebody
Yeah,
for stealing from
using
it?
it. Yeah.
And it goes back to the same thing: is that they hate us because they ain't us. And,
Right.
And you know, we have continuously managed to push the level of pop culture and art and music and you know, fashion, and everybody wants a piece. Everybody wants to be black until it's time to be black, and that's when
Everybody, or to quote Paul Mooney, everybody want to be a nigga until it's time to get treated like a nigga.
fair. Exactly.
That part.
I was trying to keep it clean, but
Well,
again,
no.
you know.
Keep it 100.
but yeah, but here, but you know, what you know, people need to realize is that look, we are not out here. The days of the Sambo are over. You know, we are not out here.
Candace Owens begs to differ.
Well,
Kanye begs to differ.
look, we can just look. I don't know whether we pray for their souls or just write them
Man,
off.
look.
we have a few voluntary Sambos.
I
but
don't.
They're the exception.
You know what? In 2019, and this is something I'm sticking to. 2018, it was certain stuff I didn't stick to. It was certain stuff I did stick to. Like I said, I was gonna be consistent in the things that I boycotted in 2018, and I was consistent with that. 2019, you know, and I know people like to. I know it's cool to shame people for having New Year's resolutions. 2019, I'm literally not arguing with people that Harriet Tubman would have shot. Like, I got myself caught up with this guy the other day. First of all, Larry Langford is coming home. Thank God for that.
Shout out to Larry.
He got
Langford.
15 years for something that the other two co-conspirators, one of whom got four years for, served 4 years in Club Fed down there at Maxwell Air Force Base. The other one got 4.5 years and only served 2 years and got a pardon for. Larry got hit with 15. Al LaPierre got hit with 2. They got rich. Larry Langford got jail time. And this quote-unquote attorney, and I use quotes because he's actually an attorney, but I don't respect him enough to call him an attorney, back home in Birmingham, who I'm only, you know, tertiarily acquainted with, that's actually a word, decided to, you know, basically claim that Larry deserved to be there and that he wasn't unjustly sentenced when all the other quote-unquote co-conspirators that got rich off of it got less than a third of the time that he got. But I decided I wasn't going to go back and forth with this clown, but I gave him some energy yesterday. I gave him some attention. But next year, that's the last person I'm giving any attention, period, especially if there's somebody that Harriet would have shot.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely somebody Harriet would have shot. I just firmly believe that with my whole heart, in the spirit of Harriet Tubman. I'm not going back and forth with niggas that Harriet Tubman would have shot. Kill yourself. Please. Do the culture a favor. Kill yourself.
I mean, Lil Duval said it best.
I ain't going back and forth with you niggas. I'm living my best life.
I mean, that's really like Proverbs.
Like, for real. Like, I'm
It
not.
is.
And then here's the thing. People get emotional when you won't engage with them on that level. They get upset. You could have just shut the fuck up. and left me the fuck alone.
I love when people always try to claim the high road. I'm not taking the high road anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Somebody, I got it. Like you said, I got into it with somebody on. Actually, no. I said something about I was basically ranting on the conservatives and the white nationalist party, and basically just told them that they can all go kill themselves. And some guy got offended that I said they could kill them. Like, why would you wish somebody harm? I'm like, because I have no more room or no more space in my silo to tolerate the nonsense that goes on around me. So, I'm back to I tried to be, I tried to be a little bit sensitive to it, but I mean, he got so offended. I'm like, look, I don't have time or energy to sit here and allow people
get real butthurt when you won't give them your energy.
Right. And so I'm not for that. My thing is kill yourself. Like,
as far as I'm concerned,
do the rest of the culture and the rest of us a favor and just kill yourself.
As far as I'm concerned, I got Thanos on speed dial.
Oh goodness.
Because in my opinion, here's my thing. If I have no use for you, if I think the world has no use for you, if I think the black community has no use for you, as far as I'm concerned, you're dead. And I will have a whole funeral for you in my mind. If you meant something to me at some point, I will mourn for you for a day, mentally.
See, that's why you're a good person.
And then we'll continue as if you don't exist.
See, that's why you're a good person, because you at least give them the mourning period and remember them in your mind. I'm not even going that far.
Well, I'm not gonna pour out no liquor for them.
Oh, I'm not even saying that.
I'm gonna pray for their soul and keep it moving.
Nope, I'm not even gonna do that. Like, once you get to kill yourself for me, might as well just go ahead.
It's official.
Might as well go ahead and do it. It's a wrap.
But nah, 2019 is really gonna be about protecting my peace, and I'm not going back and forth with you niggas. If I said something, I have a reason for saying it. If you want to engage me respectfully on my views, that's one thing. But if you want to come and throw shade and be snarky, I'm not giving you that energy. I have a return, and the thing is, for so long, I had a return to sender policy in terms of negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just not going to deal with it. I'm going to deflect that from now on. Because, my thing is, my return to sender policy is that, you come to me with this negative energy, I'm going to give it right back to you because I don't deserve to hold on to the negative feelings you brought to me. At this point, if I don't acknowledge them, they don't exist.
Right, because by acknowledging them, you still have to give some of your energy to even return it back to sender.
Yeah. So the thing is, okay, a lot of people thought Kanye was crazy when he said, I am a God. Well, I do think Kanye is crazy, first of all.
Well,
but when Kanye said, I am God, okay, pause. Shut the fuck up. Go away. I respect David Banner's thought process way better from Godbox, saying, I am a God. Because if I call myself the son of God, what does that make me? I acknowledge my creator. I acknowledge my father. So if my father, for example, I have an earthly father. When my father dies, I inherit that which he leaves me. While my father is alive, I have the benefits and privileges afforded to me by my father's hard work, by my father's, accumulation, by who he is, by his name, by his strength. We've been watching Game of Thrones lately, and if you notice, what's the imp's name? Tyrion.
Yeah.
Okay. He always says, "I am Tyrion of the Lannister house. I am knowledge of the such and such house. My name, the privileges afforded to me by my name, afford me certain things, certain benefits." Now, Erykah Badu tried to school y'all back then.
She did.
If we were made in his image, then call us by our names.
That part.
So the thing is, if I am a God, if I consider and the thing is, the big thing right now is for black men to call themselves kings. If I am a God, if I am a king, then what I acknowledge, what I respond to, what I am is what I make it, what I speak it, what I will into existence. If I don't acknowledge your dumb ass, then you don't exist. If I don't acknowledge your bullshit, it doesn't exist. If I don't acknowledge your fuckery, it doesn't exist. Now, at the same time, in the words of Xerxes, I am a merciful God. So the thing is, I will let you slide and I will let you live. But should you threaten me or my family, I will ensure that you don't exist in the physical or the spiritual realm. You will go be my father. my job at that moment would be to arrange a meeting with you and my daddy. All right. So the thing is, that's how I'm looking at it in 2019. Is that blasphemous? No. I am only claiming my namesake.
Okay. What I have to say to piggyback off of that just a little bit. People, don't get so caught up. Please don't get so caught up in this whole, all y'all out here, practicing this white man's religion and so on. I don't care what you believe in. But if you don't believe in anything, you missing out.
Believe in yourself.
You got to believe in something. You got to understand. Go read. If you want to read about every different religion that there is that exists, I mean, go for it. But you got to believe in something to truly understand the power that you possess and who you really are. And if you're not doing that and you're just out here, turning everything away, nope, I don't believe in that. Nope, I don't believe in that. You're crazy for this. And you're so quick to cast judgment against people who do believe in a higher power, you're really missing out.
Yeah.
Because you really don't understand that you are a God, like we are. But you got to learn that from somewhere. I think every religion has its differences, but at the same time, they all have some kind of common denominator that gives you that.
There's a common thread amongst them all.
Mm-hmm.
And that common thread essentially is altruistic values. And my thing is, for people like, I understand. Like I got a homeboy who we've had on the show, Vic. Shout out to him. He wrote The Code, a blueprint for solidarity amongst reasonable black people. It's actually a really good book.
Get that book.
Yeah, definitely check it out. So Vic sometimes makes jokes towards Christians. And the thing is, I don't know if Vic is atheist or agnostic, but Vic's jokes a lot of times are centered around the idea of Christians that use religion as a crutch for not doing and being better, or for not taking accountability for their own successes and failures and actions. And so that's where a lot of his jokes are centered around. He'd be like, "So y'all sky dad that made you do that?" Like, he jokes about it. And the thing is, it doesn't offend me because I know where he's coming from. He's not disrespecting me. He if anything, he's pushing me to make my religion true.
I mean, I
Show
feel like
me why you believe.
a lot of us really don't know better, and I'm not trying to go down this rabbit hole about it, but a lot of us don't know any better. And if you really are still somewhat, I hate to say, practicing or following the traditions that were passed down to us from white people who completely manipulated certain things in order to teach you a religion that they wanted you to follow based off of the concept of control, then you are struggling a little bit. And I hope you do come
It doesn't
come
make
around.
you a bad person.
No, it
just means
doesn't. It
you need to
doesn't make
read
you a
more.
bad person. You're just kind of behind a little bit. And while I'm still proud that you believe in something that holds you accountable to be a better person in the world, there are other things that you can be doing and things that you can see differently.
So I commend. First of all, I just want to take up an offering from what I've heard over the last couple of minutes. I'm about to pass the plate. We gonna hand out
Some wafers and
let's
grape
get your
juice.
get your ties together. So this is something that I struggle with, and I don't want to necessarily go down the rabbit hole here either. But I look at it from this point: if you believe in church, organized religion, fine. I'm all. That's good for you. That works. I'm okay. Where I have the problem is when you supposedly believe in one thing, but your actions don't necessarily follow what it is that you teach. So, for example, and I'll use a prime example, you have a lot of people here that go to mega churches and all these big, buildings and whatever else, and you have all these people that call themselves quote unquote believers, but you'll go and vote for somebody who
Is the antithesis
the
of
complete
Christ.
180 polar opposite of everything that you're supposed to believe in, but he's going to give you what you want politically. That is hypocrisy. And that's where I have a problem. And so I don't want to hear your noise about, well, I'm a Christian and I'm a conservative and I believe and you should convert and this is the way and I don't have time for that. Furthermore,
I don't think in America. I think in America, there's no such thing as a Christian conservative anymore.
oh no,
No.
that idea has gone by the wayside. But here's
Well,
the other.
wait.
here-
Let me correct that. I don't think there's such thing as a Christian Republican anymore. I think that there are people who have conservative values that can be Christian. I don't think that you can be a true blue, dyed in the wool Republican and be a Christian anymore.
I don't think that. I draw a distinction between anyone who kind of has that value set. So, understanding, I understand, sort of the Christian conservative movement, but, you have to look at, a lot of the things that they sign up for, or a lot of things that they believe in are not necessarily the same values that, if you were to think of a Christ-like person,
Right.
would sign up for, as well as the Republican end of it or the white nationalist end of it. I'm using those terms interchangeably these days.
And I think that a lot of that, depends on the labels that we subscribe to as well, because black people, by and large, have conservative values for the most part.
Right.
Is it leaning a little bit more liberal as time goes on? Yes. And I think black people vote for liberal candidates because, it's either vote for them or go back into slavery or open in the third seal of the apocalypse. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, that's really what it is.
We ain't going back.
Right. Niggas is not going back. Look, if I have to put up with some bullshit to not go back to slavery, hey, where's the bullshit I got to put up with?
Yeah.
So
Let me just leave you with this, and I, again, this is on sort of the religious end of the spectrum. So a lot of these Christian conservatives, or a lot of Christians, believe that Christianity is the only one true religion. And I just think that's a very narrow-minded view of the world to take. So what's to say that your God is the one God? So when you get to the pearly gates, if Jesus isn't standing there or God isn't standing there and it's Krishna, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So, my thing is, I wish that Christians and I wish that people of other faiths were just a little bit more tolerant of people that don't necessarily have the same belief system, because really they're all very similar.
I think we all, at the end of the day, is just my personal opinion. I think we all serve the same God. I think we all end up actually praying to the same God, but through our own man-made divisive ways. We create different images that we want God to look like. We create different beliefs that we're supposed to say this makes us different from the next person, because we always like to feel different from the next person. But at the end of the day, I think we all pray and serve the same God. We just don't realize it.
And Jesus was black.
facts. So moving right along, gonna switch gears from that conversation. That was a good one. We're gonna go to Michael B. Jordan said he wants Deontay Wilder to play in Creed 3 as Clubber Lang's son. Which honestly, I don't think you could cast a better person to play Clubber Lang's son than Deontay Wilder. What I would like to see instead, though, of this of Deontay Wilder as Clubber Lang's son fighting Michael B. Jordan as Apollo Creed's son, I would, because and one of our listeners actually brought this up on the page, said that they didn't want the Creed series to become like a revenge tour, which I agree with.
Refresh my memory as to who's
Clubber. Okay, so Apollo Creed was Carl Weathers, was the black guy who Rocky beat and that got killed by the Russian.
Okay.
In the original Rocky series. Clubber Lang was Mr. T.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Deontay Wilder as Clubber Lang's son is highly appropriate.
It is. Okay. I'm with you.
Highly appropriate.
Yeah.
What I would like to see, and this is just my thought process, is a Clubber Lang's is a series based around Deontay Wilder. If Deontay Wilder can act, first of all, he has to be able to act.
That was my first question.
If he can act, I would like to see a series centered around Clubber Lang and what happened after, like just like an offshoot, not Creed and Lang. Like maybe after there's a couple of Lang, like how Creed basically kind of fell into becoming the champ. He was a rich kid. He started off in the in the juvenile justice system, was adopted by Apollo Creed's wife, Felicia Rashad. And he grew up as a rich kid who, because of his name, got to fight, some pretty big name fighters, once in an exhibition match, and then came back around and earn a title. But he kind of had a golden ticket to get there. Like, don't get me wrong. Now, he had to fight some fighters in Mexico or whatnot. But he kind of had a golden ticket. He also had the benefit of having, somebody being able to financially back him. I'd like to see Clubber Lang, like after Clubber Lang lost his title, you had this kid who literally came up the harder way. And you see him fighting for respect, kind of how Rocky did, working his way up the ladder, fighting bums in, these Friday night fights at the church, boxing league in Philly or somewhere. I'd like to see Clubber Lang, Deontay Wilder, if he can act. I'd like to see a Clubber Lang series out of Atlanta. This young Southern boxer. Deontay Wilder's from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, technically Duncanville, which is outside of Tuscaloosa. I'd like to see a kid come out of Atlanta, with the same boxing story. I want to see a resurgence of the American heavyweight. And so I would love to see a series based on Lang, and then maybe as a culmination, kind of like Alien versus Predator did, see the Lang versus Creed arc kind of cross paths, and then they eventually become friends like Rocky and Creed did. I'd like to see that.
I can see that.
Brother,
I can write that.
Brother, I think you need to put together a treatment.
I am. I am. Actually,
start-
after this, I'm going to do that.
and start shopping it around. That sounds like, I can't argue with it.
I could write it. I would love to write that. I'm a huge boxing fan, so I would love to write that. But yeah, and for anybody listening, we do record this, so if you try to steal my idea, I am suing your ass. I'm just letting you know.
Timestamp.
Yeah. And we've been recording for 51 minutes and 13 seconds, as it be saying. So yeah, the court will hear this shit.
Oh God.
Believe it. Anyway, moving right along, we're gonna stay in the realm of sports. Marshawn Lynch is my hero and my spirit animal. After the last Raiders home game, apparently he tried to light a blunt off of Al Davis's Eternal Flame,
Hey.
which is so authentically Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
Like, first of all, I think Marshawn Lynch should be the Oakland ambassador to the world. Number one, and number two, lighting the blizzy of Al Davis's Eternal Flame is so Oakland.
That is the greatest thing I think I have ever heard, especially considering the NFL stance on the weed, as Stephen A. Smith would say.
Right. I think, and here's my thing. I think that the only thing that would have made that more authentically Oakland would have been if he was dressed as a Black Panther with the East Bay Dragons behind him on motorcycles.
Gosh.
Or
Well, hold on. I have a question because you said he tried.
Yeah, it didn't light up.
Okay.
It didn't fully light. It didn't
All right.
take. For those of you
I
that don't
respect
know,
the effort, though.
yeah, like my thing is, Oakland has given this country so much in terms of Black culture.
E40.
They made the Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Think
Player.
about it. They gave us, first of all, they've given us Marshawn Lynch. The Bay gave us Marshawn Lynch. The Bay gave us Too Short.
Mm-hmm.
The Bay gave us MC Hammer. The Bay gave us the Oakland A's. The Bay gave us the Black Panthers. The Bay gave us the first all black outlaw motorcycle club in the country, the East Bay Dragons.
Okay.
But the Bay also gave us the growth of Hell's Angels. I mean, the Bay is America. I put it like this. Once I get rich, I'm moving to Oakland. I'm packing up my babies and I'm moving to Oakland. Oakland might be Wakanda.
Bag.
I don't
So bag
think
back.
I've ever heard anybody say that.
Bag
Oakland
back.
might be Wakanda.
Bag back for 2 seconds. You said the growth of Hell's Angels for the people who don't know.
Okay, so Hell's Angels is, I'm not going to say arguably, Hell's Angels is the largest 1% motorcycle club in the world. The guy who is credited with Hell's Angels growth is Sonny Barger. He's still alive. He's living in Arizona right now, if I'm not mistaken. Once he became an Oakland Hell's Angel, he redesigned the Hell's Angels patch to what it's called now. That was renamed the Barger Larger. That is where they made the Death's Head, as they call it, much bigger. It's a skull with wings on it.
Mm-hmm.
Made it much, much bigger and much more prominent. And Sonny Barger made the Oakland Hell's Angels a lot more of a serious chapter, because the Hell's Angels, if you read like the early days, they were really just a bunch of freewheeling guys who like to have fun and get in bar fights.
Right.
But the cool thing about it was they would fuck up your bar and then come back the next day and pay for it all. Like, and I thought that was really, really cool.
Gotta respect it.
But Sonny Barger, he made them a much more militant, organized group And, drugs were a part of it, but they were using the drugs. And some of the guys sold drugs. But the feds tried to go after them multiple times, and they couldn't take them down. Sonny Barger is a legend in the outlaw world. Now, do I think Sonny Barger was also partly responsible for, like, the criminality of what it is now? I can't say. I'm not really deeply entrenched on the white side of things. I know that, and I'll say this, and a lot of, outlaws and one percenters would disagree with me, but I do think that every other club in some way, shape, form, or fashion has been influenced by the Hells Angels. Period. I think that American culture has been influenced by the Hells Angels, to a large extent. I mean, think about it. They sued Jeezy a couple years. Like, if you look at My President Is Black, Jeezy has on a motorcycle vest, and he's got his rag set up in a certain way, and it looks like the Hells Angels. And his clothing line got sued by the Hells Angels for having a very similar patch designed to the Hells Angels. When you think about, there are two or three things in this country. Well, there are three things in this country that have exported and gone all over the world as authentically American. Okay, one of those things is jazz. Americans created jazz. Black Americans created jazz. And that has been exported all over the world as an authentically American thing. Hip-hop. Black and Latino youth in the Bronx started hip-hop. And now hip-hop is a force to be reckoned with all over the country and all over the world. The third thing that has taken the world by storm that a lot of people really don't pay attention to, the Outlaw Motorcycle Club. Who was the first club really to expand aggressively on an international basis? The Hells Angels. Now all the other ones followed suit. You got the Outlaws, the Banditos, the Pagans. They all have their things. But if you look in Australia, Australia created a whole set of laws to combat, bikies, is what they call them. And that was after the quote-unquote bikie massacre that they had down there between the Comancheros and the rebels, if I'm not mistaken. And so those guys were emulating the Outlaw Motorcycle Clubs of the States. So these are three authentically American exports. I mean, it's really impacted the world. So,
something you mentioned made me think of something else that I did want to tell the people about. Totally not about
Oakland.
what you were talking about, but shout out to Rev Run, who has a new show. It's called I don't know exactly how new it is, to be honest, but it's called All About the Washingtons.
Oh, the sitcom is kind of based on them.
Right. It's about them. And my daughter ended up watching. I knew nothing about it. My daughter was watching it on, I think, Netflix.
Okay.
I believe. And I was like, wait, what is that? But then I realized it was him and Justine. And it's almost like their family all over again, but it's scripted.
Right.
With some other kids. And it's really dope. I think, I'm really big on us seeing images of us on TV, and I liked it. It was dope. When you talked about hip hop, I was like, yo, I had to give Rev Run.
That's a good segue to the next story. Speaking of hip hop, we also got some coons in hip hop.
Oh gosh.
Travis Scott, his punk ass, decided to say that he would perform at the Super Bowl. I find it absolutely amazing that the two biggest Sambos in hip hop are both associated with the Kardashians.
Well, you know what they say.
Surprise.
I want to thank Reggie Bush for getting out of there, because his effort that he's been doing with building homes for single mothers. I mean, he's he's well over. He should be close to 150 by now.
That wouldn't have happened if he was still with
Nah, it wouldn't have. I'm so
Wouldn't
glad Reggie Bush got out of that situation, man. But
he got out.
yeah, he got out the sunken
Literally.
place. He got out the sunken place, man. But so Travis Scott,
Kill yourself.
yeah, I agree. And so the thing is, I'm also not listening to music. And I liked Sicko Mode.
It was a good album.
I liked Sicko Mode.
It gets no airplay. anymore.
You gets no burn in my ride.
No.
As far as I'm concerned, at this point, unless Travis Scott does something really big, I'm putting him in the same bucket with R. Kelly. Until then,
Ooh.
he getting no burn with me. Him, Kanye, and R. Kelly are all in the same place.
Now wait a minute. Let's pump the brakes on this.
I'm gonna say post graduation. Well, no, post My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye.
Now let's pump the brakes on this. First of all, despite how we may feel about Kanye and Travis, They haven't allegedly or.
I'm
been
just talking about in
accused
terms of me listening to the
Oh,
music.
okay.
That's all I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm just saying.
No, that's all I'm talking
Put
about.
them in the same bucket. That's
In
that's
terms
a-
of me
that's a-
in terms of me listening
hell of
to
a
their
bucket.
music, that's where I'm at with it.
right. Okay,
And that's how I'm
with
looking
you.
at it like
I'm
that.
with you. Yeah.
Chrisette Michelle, I don't actively listen to her music. She apologized profusely. If it comes on the radio, I won't turn it off. But I'm not. I'm never gonna buy a concert ticket or list or actively go stream her stuff again. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure her career is over. Like she probably working at the call
Isn't
center
that
somewhere.
sad?
No, it's not.
No, it does. It saddens.
No, it's not.
It saddens me.
It doesn't sadden me because the thing is,
she made her great. She
when
made her
you
great.
when you choose to side with certain people, you should make sure you choose to side with people who gonna support you.
Right, and don't give me this. Well, we need to come. I was trying to make a bigger point, and we need to come.
No, you
together.
wouldn't because when we
No,
checked you
no,
on it, you
wanted
got
that bag.
downright indignant.
You wanted the bag. You got it. Now, you took the short-term gain over the long-term gain, and so
And when everybody tried to tell her that she was being trash, she got mad at us for it. Her and her husband.
right. So again,
They pulled a Monique on us,
oh Lord,
but Monique love us for real.
I guess.
While she caping for Roseanne.
Ugh. In 2019, black people, dear black people,
Dear black people,
dear black. In 2019, and as we begin this, illustrious voyage through this new year, can we please stop caping for these trash white people? We just need to stop caping for the trash Yakubs out there that just do not have our interests in mind. So let's just stop it all together. Let's just move forward and try to make some sense out of this existence that we have. This is ridiculous.
That kind of makes me think about, I hate to say it.
Say
I
it,
really
though.
hate to
Say
say
it.
it, but no,
You
I
know.
feel like we have almost been taught to be very, caring and turn the other cheek-ish for white people. But when do white people, I mean, there are some,
Here's the thing.
but when do white people fight for black people as hard as we fight for white people?
look at it like this. When the same day that Dylan Roof bitch ass went into Mother Emanuel and killed those 9 people, you had these chicken-eating Uncle Tom Negro preachers, to quote Brother Malcolm, on TV urging restraint and forgiveness. The day after 9/11, the same day of 9/11, everybody wanted revenge.
Mm-hmm.
The same day that anything that happens to white people that is egregious. Think about how people treat OJ. Nobody's offered to forgive OJ or asked for forgiveness to OJ. But whenever we bring up Dylan Roof, they say, oh, well, you're so intolerant of others' beliefs.
Well, that's somewhat what I was touching on earlier when
Yeah.
I was like, some things that we were taught and we were manipulated by in regards to religion.
And my thing is, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
Like black people are. Here's the thing: if black people were half as violent as some of these folks wanted you to believe we were, you should be thankful that we're asking for equality and not revenge.
Yeah.
But the reason black people are treated as such, and people are so afraid of equality and afraid of justice, and that they're making this big clamor about white genocide in the conservative circles, is because they're afraid that black people and people of color will take over this country and do to them what's been done to us.
It is kind of crazy that what popped in my head was The Purge. When they were like, they're not doing anything to each other. I don't think that, majority of African American people are naturally overly aggressive as we're painted out to be. That's just something that we've been, labeled as, but I don't think we are.
I think on the whole, you're right, but I think you also have to look at most people. You are a product of your environment.
Mhm.
So if you are in a place or you grow up in a place where you have to be, more aggressive,
Right.
then you're going to be more aggressive. But that's just. I think that's more the the construction of sociology. It's just like
Yeah.
you are where you come from.
Right.
But the thing about it for me is, as you were saying, knowledge is we talk about we should want they should be white people should be happy that we aren't as aggressive, and that we're not asking for revenge, and that they talk about white genocide. The thing that the I guess the sanitized version of that is, whenever you engage someone and the first thing they scream is, "You're reverse racist" or reverse racism, and then I've gotten to the point where I can't even part my lips to say that reverse racism isn't a thing, bro. Like
It's not. But
you're
the thing
making
is,
something up.
but
Like,
let's say it was. To have reverse racism, you, Mr. Angry Guy, would have to acknowledge that racism exists in the first place.
right. So here's
And you don't.
And so
So
here's
shut the fuck up.
right. So here's the thing here's the thing that dear white people.
You're white people.
Here's the thing that I need you to understand is that racism involves a power construct, right? So when you say reverse racism, in its purest sense, you would have to have persons of color who actually have power over things that happen in your life and use that power to keep you in a subservient position. That would be reverse racism.
Right.
That does not exist in the United States.
At all.
So
Anywhere.
let's just be very clear about this. Reverse racism isn't a thing. What they mean to say is prejudice. And yes, prejudice exists.
Yeah.
Everyone is prejudiced. You're prejudiced. I'm prejudiced. Everyone has a level of prejudice.
But I'm prejudiced against everybody. I hate everybody. equally.
Exactly. That's
I do.
That's the point that I'm trying to make is that, I can understand you being prejudiced because, you make a preconceived notion about someone based on, something that,
Maybe your
we all do.
experiences.
We all do, right? We all have experiences. We all go into a certain situation or a certain setting with that set of experiences. What prejudice is not racism.
Right. Here's the thing. If I'm prejudiced, and this is how I had to explain it to this white guy once. I said, if I'm prejudiced against you, it hurts your feelings, right?
Right.
He said, yeah. I said, if you're prejudiced against me, it affects my ability to possibly live. It affects my ability to get a house. See, prejudice is an element of racism,
Right.
but it is not racism.
Right.
And that's what they don't understand a lot of times. The entire conversation, and this is one thing that white people also fairly often have to be explained to. And I usually don't mind explaining this. I've said this before. I said the entire conversation about race in America is centered around white feelings.
Right.
Because the thing is, if I tell you that I still face racism in America, you tell me we're all equal. So you don't tell me that you acknowledge my experience, and that you tell me that you don't tell me that you can appreciate my perspective based on what I've experienced. You tell me no, because I see it all as equal. That's through your eyes, sir.
Right.
But your eyes can't change my experience. And so the thing is, your feelings dictate how we have this conversation, because now I am burdened with the task of doing the intellectual and emotional labor of explaining racism to you, which is something I've had to do since I came out of the womb.
Right. So
And in 2019, that's another thing I'm not doing.
right. Yeah.
No, we're not explaining racism.
I can't give it
Now,
away.
if you genuinely want to know, and I firmly believe you want to know, then I'll have that conversation with you.
Right.
But I'm not going back and forth with you, niggas.
Right. Here, and the other thing is that, like, what I don't understand is that you're white.
You're white people.
It costs you nothing to
Leave me the hell alone. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That
I'm
too?
sorry. I'm sorry.
that too. But we're not blaming you for what happened, with your ancestors. All we're asking you is just stop. We don't need to place blame on you for what your pappy and your grandpappy and your grandpappy's pappy did. We're beyond that.
I asked somebody one day, I said, what do you think black people want in this country? And they said, special treatment. I said, if you consider being left the fuck alone special treatment, then I wonder what you get. every
Exactly.
single day.
Exactly.
They had no response.
Right.
All black people want is to be left the fuck alone and to be treated equally. That's it.
Exactly.
Leave me the fuck alone and treat me just like you would treat anybody else.
That's it.
That's it.
And it costs you nothing.
It really doesn't.
But
Oh, wait. Yes, it does. It costs you privilege.
mm,
Anyway, let's go and jump through the.
man, you
Speaking
just
of
got
privilege,
you just got that lesson for free 99.
there we go. Sorry, had an accident,
And we're back.
and we're back. So, speaking of privilege, the privilege to sit in a hotel lobby and have a conversation with your mom is apparently one that we don't have either. So this guy, who I really don't want to cape for because he was going to a Travis Scott concert.
Everybody ain't woke.
Jermaine Massey was in a hotel lobby on December 22nd talking to his mother on a cell phone. He was in the lobby of the DoubleTree Hotel. And a security guard, Earl Myers, approached him and told him he had to leave. And so, the video, we posted the video on the Facebook page. And I'm wondering why he had to leave. And he said, I'm a guest here at the hotel. And the guy said, not anymore, you're not. So the guy had to literally pack up his stuff and leave the hotel. And he'd literally done nothing wrong but talk to his mother on the phone. And so Earl Myers and another hotel employee called the police on him. The DoubleTree Hotel fired both of them, Mr. Earl and the other unknown employee, said that their actions were inconsistent with the Hilton Hotel standards because DoubleTree is owned by Hilton. So Mr. Massey, Jermaine Massey, said, in that moment when Earl approached me, I was blindsided. I was handling a personal family call, and I was a little shocked that he approached me when I was on a call. I wasn't disturbing anyone, but I confirmed his question, and then he continually harassed me about it. I feel like I was being interrogated, and I just didn't feel like I was being respected. The reason I feel like I was singled out is because of my race. And the other folks in the video, as you can see, were white. I'm black, African American, and that's the only justification I have. I have no other way to explain why I was selected out of all the people in the hotel that night to be questioned. The hotel did not specifically mention race in its announcement of the two employees' firings. They said, we have terminated the employment of the two men involved in the mistreatment of Mr. Massey. Their actions were inconsistent with our standards and values. We reiterate our sincere apology for what he endured and will work with diversity experts to ensure this never happens again.
Diversity experts.
That's code. You know that coded language, man. That's coded language. So
Starbucks.
his lawyer told ABC News that he checked into the hotel, had gone out to dinner across the street, had gone to a Travis Scott concert that evening. His mother called him after 11 p.m. because of a family problem, and that's when he was confronted by the security officer because he did not want to take the call in the elevator, so he talked to her in a quiet corner of the lobby. So, yeah. He told him Portland police will be here soon to escort you off the property. So, I just don't understand why we can't just do normal shit.
Just mind your damn business.
That's it.
That's all. There's no reason, no explainable reason for this young man to be escorted off property. He's a guest at the hotel. He's a paying customer. And because you don't maybe like the way he looks, or this is just what we just finished talking about. This officer and this employee have let their prejudice impact this man's life.
Right.
We just finished talking about this exact concept. So, here it is played out, and we continue to see it. Now, I think the one thing that we can continue to do in 2019 is we can continue to make racists unemployed again.
Right. And I'm all for that. But I also think, and I've said this before, I think I've said it on the show before, that I think that there should be a team of folks who catalog all of the names of these folks, and they periodically check up to see where they're working now to make sure that their current employers know that they're dealing with racist folks. Unless these folks join the NAACP and make donations to the United Negro College Fund yearly.
I think it should be pulled out of their paychecks, like child support.
I agree.
Ooh.
That's reparations for your ass right there.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of paychecks, December 1st, a situation like this happened to me as well, a very similar situation. Mr. Paul McCown's went into TD Bank in Huntington, Ohio, trying to cash a check for a little over $1,000, like a little over $1,000. And he showed two forms of ID, gave a thumbprint, which is in accordance with the bank policy for non-members of the bank. The teller questioned the transaction, called his employer, and because of the hassle, Mr. McCown decided to leave. He walked outside to get into his truck. As a police car arrived, the teller had called 911 on him. According to the 911 call, the teller said, "I have a customer here. He's not our customer, actually. He's trying to cash a check, and the check is fraudulent. It does not match our records." Mr. McCown was handcuffed to put in the back of the car. His employer confirmed the check was legitimate, and in a few minutes, Mr. McCown was released. The employer said, "Yes, he works for me. He just started, and yes, my payroll company does pay him that much." Police said, so the police tried to cover up and say the bank has received more than 10 fraudulent checks since July 18th. Now, this is December 1st. And so, let's see, more than 10, that's an average of what, 2 a month? Right. How many checks do you cash in a month? So, let me tell you my story. I went to a TD Bank, same bank as this one, and I walked in there, and my check was for, for more than double this sum, and it was,
you got it like that.
Well, I mean, I was working a very good contract at the time.
Yeah, be a cake.
And I was there, and I did my thumbprint, offered 2 forms of identification, all that. And the lady said, "We can't cash this check." I said, "Well, why can't you cash it?" She said, "It doesn't match our records." I said, "Is there somebody?" I said, "Can I speak to a manager?" She said, "Yeah, but he's not going to cash it either." I said, "Okay, well, let me speak to him first." So the manager came out. I said, "Why can't they cash my check?" Like, "Well, it doesn't match our records for what this company's checks look like." I said, "Well, can I cash my check back?" They said, "No." I said, "Okay, well, what you're going to do is you're going to call my employer." They said, "Yeah, we're absolutely going to do that." I said, "Fine, I'll wait." And I walked over to the corner, and I sat down, and I put my feet up. Now, meanwhile, while I'm sitting there waiting on them to run this check and verify it, because I know I had done nothing wrong, I see this woman come up there, this older white woman. She comes up there, she puts her thumbprint on the check. The check was torn. And the lady, the other teller was like, "I can't really read this. Can you re-sign it?" So then she has to re-sign this check. So now you've got a check with 2 signatures on it that's torn. They run the check and it doesn't go through. They run it again, it doesn't go through. I watched them run this lady's check 4 times, and on the 5th time it finally goes through, and they give her money. And I'm sitting there at the desk. I'm sitting there in the little lobby area like, you got to be shitting me. So after I sit there about 15 minutes, the lady comes back. The lady says, "Mr. Hewlett." I'll blurb that out. I'm going to blurb out my last name here. The lady calls my name. And she says, "Oh, we checked, and this check is authentic." She calls me over. And she cashes my check right then. And then shortly after she cashes my check, the guy from HR, black guy, who's the HR manager, calls and says, "Yeah, how can I help you? Is this such check valid?" "Yes, it's valid. Yes, he works on a contract for us. What's the problem?" "Oh, nothing. It just looks different from the other checks that you sent us." Then this heifer offers me a snack cake. "No, I don't want your little funky ass snack cake."
Should have slapped it right out of her hand.
Little Debbie makes everything better.
I took that. She tried to be polite. I said, "I'm not even trying to hear that, man. Just give me my money. I don't want to hear shit else." This is what we go through all the time. Yeah. TD Bank really got to do something.
See, it's times like these where we need to go back to the living color days of Homie the Clown and just walk around with socks.
Yes.
Just ready to just smack the shit out of people.
And I think that should be legal. Because I guarantee you, if I had acted a whole ass donkey in there like I wanted to, the police would have been called and I would have been in jail.
Definitely.
But
I'm convinced, of course, given some of my previous job positions, I've had to go through a lot of customer complaints and make sure resolutions were appropriate and things of that nature. And there were plenty of times where I read customer complaints, I read the resolutions, and I'm convinced that I feel like some customers were, I hate to say, I don't want to say targeted, but I kind of feel like the situation was made out to be worse than what it was so that they could end the customer relationship, because that was always an option. Like, the customer does certain things, you can close their accounts, end the relationship, and they're not allowed to have accounts there anymore. And I'm pretty sure that that was done like intentionally for some people. Like, if their response was a certain way, it was like, oh, well, we decided to end the relationship, close their accounts, and yada yada yada. It's like, oh, well, I feel like you kind of pushed them to the point where they gave you a certain reaction, and that was the outcome, which that was the end goal anyway. But,
Right. But certain people can come to a bank with a check, you know, as long as it's under a certain amount of money, and get it, and have it, you know, deposited with no issue, you know, and not have to go through the rigmarole, when you're just trying to cash a check from an employer. And furthermore, my question would be, how does this woman know what a check from a company looks like? They may have gotten brand new checks.
right.
Yeah, apparently they have some sort of like image that pops up or something like that of
Well,
different types of checks.
It is, and the issue with banking, well, period, I would have to say, is the first line of customer service, unfortunately, is very subjective. So instead of just relying on technology or some kind of, you know, the machine, or from an operational standpoint, instead of that being your first line of service for customers, the first line of service is a very subjective, oh, this is what I'm used to seeing, or I have to judge you or ask you questions. And I don't think in today's society that should be anything that should be your first line of service for anybody. It's horrible. But that's how you end up in situations where you treat people differently, and it's based off of you're trusting your employees to make the right decision. And it's a horrible concept.
Stop giving your money to Canadian banks.
Fuck TD Bank and everybody that love them.
Hey,
Oh, gosh.
hey,
I felt like
quick
you were going to
question.
follow that up with Come
Canada,
to the West Side.
Canada's America's hat.
Oh, gosh.
Just saying.
Hey, South Park said it best.
America, fuck
Fuck
yeah.
Oh. How's South Park Susan?
Unemployed probably. Shit, still raggedy hoe. Anyway,
My question. My
here's the
question.
thing. I don't have I don't usually refer to women as derogatory terms, but if you're a racist woman, I'm referring to you as all the derogatory terms. Period.
Appropriate.
I'm calling you a scallywag, a scamp booger, a hoe.
A
everything.
whole ass bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felt that in my soul.
What's my favorite word? Bitch.
I'm sorry, y'all. We just had a moment.
This is my tribe. This is my tribe.
Hey,
Oh,
quick
God.
question,
Uh-huh.
and this kind of gets into one of my resolutions for the new year. Black banks. I really want to put my money with a black bank.
Mechanics and Farmers is right here in the state.
My goal is to, well, we can talk about resolutions later, but one of the things that I'm focused on is really trying to support black business. But I've looked into going to a black bank,
Right.
and there are some structural issues that make going to a black bank less convenient
Right.
than keeping it with a traditional, large institution. So if anybody has a recommendation for a black bank or a black-owned financial institution that makes it easy for you to do business with them, hit us up on the webpage or on our Facebook page. I'm
Look-
very interested to know.
Let's do some research and have a
hold on.
whole breakdown of that.
Yeah, well, let me say this, which I often tell Knowledge on a regular basis when it comes to just about anything. Take from it what you need from it and leave the rest behind. So while I feel like whether it's a black bank or a lot of black businesses, period, we often have some limitations that, of course, other banks and other businesses don't. So even if you run into a situation where you may not be able to have like a 360 relationship and have everything you need in one location at a black bank, you may be able to still support them by having, a few services or products there. And then from another location, you take from it what you need from it to fill the gap that black financial institution wasn't able to do for you.
Fair enough, but I need my money when I need my money.
Yeah.
That is what it is. I'm just gonna put that out there into the ether and see what comes back.
All right. Well, somebody else I wish I could put into the ether that Nas has is Donald Trump. He's effectively shut down our government because of a temper tantrum.
This
I'm not gonna say nothing else about him.
Look, so first of all, y'all all saw the tape. Y'all saw when he went and had that meeting with Nancy and Chuck, and he sat there and he got played. He thought he was gonna be slick and have all the reporters in there, and he got himself played. You played yourself. And he basically said, I'm going to take ownership for I'll own it. I'll take the mantle, and I'm not going to blame you for it, Chuck and Nancy. I don't know why we're having any more discussion. This motherfucker said that he owned it. So, okay. And now, and of course now he's tried to reverse court it. Oh, the Democrats shut down. I'm like, I'm sorry, you Simple Simon motherfucker. You own all three branches of government.
For the Simple Simon.
You own all three branches of government, and you can't get shit done. So that's on you. So now we're in a situation where the quote unquote good guys are taking over the House in a couple of days. Praise Jesus.
Right.
So now the brilliance of this all is that the Democrats have slow played it. And they're just like, we're just going to bide our time. I think what will happen is they will probably increase the amount of the funding for the border wall that this dumb motherfucker wants to build that ain't going to do shit but make the cost of tunnels go higher and higher ladders. But either way, they're going to basically send the bill back that was already agreed upon in the House and the Senate that he originally vetoed. They're basically going to send that bill back to the Senate and say, look, we approved it in the House. So now the Senate has to decide, well, do we vote on it again? So now we're going to say, oh, now we don't agree with it, but we already agreed on it. So now it just puts the Senate Republicans in a real sticky pickle, and I love it. Fuck them.
Fuck
Yeah.
them.
So
Fuck them.
to all the government employees out there,
Hold your head, keep your head up, man.
My brother out there, I feel for y'all. It's a shame that it has to come to this, and it's a shame that we have to play chicken with somebody who doesn't negotiate in good faith. But this is where we are. I'm hoping that there's a resolution to it soon. But just remember, this is what your president asked for and what your president signed up for. So, he owns it. So why there's a 50% split of the country that thinks that the Democrats somehow own this is beyond me.
Because people don't read. Before we get out of here, because that's our last topic of the day. Before we get out of here, I just noticed something that popped up on my news feed here on Facebook. Said Florida man.
Shout out to Florida man.
Florida man creates a GoFundMe to pay for tunnels under the border wall. Damn it, Florida did something right.
God damn it.
Wow.
Next vacation, we going to Florida.
Yo, you might be on your own. You might be on your own. Nah, man, that is the perfect trolling of this guy who set up the GoFundMe. First of all, this dude wants to. It'll take them 50 some odd years to collect all the money that they want for this.
I feel like this is. Of course, we all know that the president is one of the biggest narcissists that exists. It's classic narcissism at its best, right? But for him to want to do this wall, I feel like any president can go back and forth with, this was put in place by the president before me. I'm going to, repeal that or change this about it or whatever the case may be, which Trump has done a lot of that. He's tried to change some things that Obama put in place. But I feel like this wall, it's a look what I can do. Do you remember the guy from, was it Mad TV? I can't remember his name. He would say, look what I can do. Look what I can do.
Yeah, Stewart.
Yes, Stewart. I feel like this is one of those look what I can do moments. And it's like, if I put a wall in place, that means that after the fact, there's going to have to be just as much money by somebody put in place to either take it down if it doesn't want to be there anymore. It's going to be a ultimate look what I did moment for a narcissist.
You so smart.
No, I mean, it's stupid. Like, I'm serious. It's
I'm just
really
saying. I'm
stupid.
agreeing with you.
I don't
agreeing
get
with you. I don't. You. I put it like this. Like I tell people all the time. Old Master Sergeant once told me, you can't explain stupid. You can only identify it.
That is true.
Very true.
You always tell me I try to understand stupid.
You do sometimes try to understand crazy.
I do.
Stop trying to
No, it's not that I try to, it's that I can. And so I try to go further into
I can't rationalize.
You know what I'm done?
I can't rationalize.
You got anything to tell the people before you get
No,
out of
I-
here? Other
no,
than
hold on.
you can understand crazy?
I can. It's like I can speak another language. I think
Oh,
that was something
okay.
I was gifted with.
Well, all right.
I really do.
Touched.
Oh,
Touch, just a little bit.
taking notice. All right.
No, like when some people try to say, no, I look at things from all perspectives. Like, do you really? I think I'm one of the few people that really, truly can look at stuff from every single perspective that there is. I don't necessarily agree with them all, of course, but I can understand them.
God bless you. I don't have time for all that. that just sounds
It,
tiring.
it is exhausting. I think that's some of my empath characteristics.
And again, that's why you're a better person than I am. 'Cause I'm straight up fuck 'em.
No, that's the ultimate. You know, I do tell people and I'll kind of take it as my segue into my parting words. But I tell people when you get to a certain point in life and you find like this nice little common ground, it's almost like the eye of a storm, and it's like the perfect little peaceful place, and it's right in the middle of not giving a fuck, but giving a fuck just enough. Oh, you made it, nigga. We made it. It's like the perfect place to be in life because you at that point you then choose when you do give a fuck and when you don't, because you have to have a certain amount of selfishness in life to be the best version of yourself. Like you can't, people say all the time, you can't pour from an empty cup. No, you can't. But that requires a certain amount of selfishness, and I don't think that we're taught that enough. Like you have to take care of yourself first before you try to take care of anybody else. If you're on an airplane, they tell you, hey, put your own mask on first before you try to help the next person.
Hey,
But we're not taught that about like taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, not spiritually, none of that good stuff. We're not taught, hey, put yourself first, then you can help out the next person. But we'll lay down our lives and get ran clean, smooth over, like for the next person. And then you say, well, nobody ever looks out for me the way I look out for other people. Nobody ever loves me the way that I love other people. Learn to love yourself first. You won't have that issue.
hey.
And that's all we can say, man.
So it is. So it shall be.
So, we out. What you got to say? I asked you what you got to say to the people to close out.
That was it.
Oh, B Wood, what's up?
Hey, good people, protect your tribe, protect those kids. Bad people, kill yourselves.
Right. Please kill
29
yourself.
2019, we coming with the smoke. So-
All the smoke.
all the smoke. So, let's be prepared.
Oh, and real quick, prayers out to a classmate of mine, her family, the Clark family. She recently passed away on Christmas.
Damn.
Her kids have been in my prayers. It's an issue. Don't have to get into too much details about it, but protect your peace, people. Like I always say that. Whatever it looks like, get yourself out of certain situations. Don't surround yourself with everybody. Everybody is not entitled to being in your space in your life. And you gotta do what's best for you. So that kind of piggybacks off what I just said. You gotta learn to love yourself. Other people come second.
I agree.
Hey, I had one more thing. And after Miss EP just put a downer on the whole thing. I just want to, I just want to give a shout out to Natty.
Oh, yeah, he's on the way to Atlanta right now.
So, I'm not a tattoo person. I don't have tattoos. I don't particularly like tattoos. It's just never been my thing. But this brother here,
Oh, yeah, he gifted as hell.
some of the work that he's put together is amazing. If you haven't had a chance, Bad Natty Tattoo Dreadlock, check him out. If that's your thing, definitely he is the guy to go to. I just wanted to give him a shout out because I've seen some of his work on the gram, and it's spectacular. So just wanted to give you, Natty, shout out to you. Hopefully
Yes.
you hear this, and hey man, waiting for you to get back on this mic.
I it's crazy not to go too far into it, but I always say I feel like some of us have certain gifts from our ancestors, and some of us don't understand how those gifts are supposed to operate, and some of us don't appreciate how those gifts are supposed to operate. So I feel like with us not knowing a lot about where we come from and who we are as people, we can't really understand those. But I often say, knowledge is our storyteller, you know, our tribe storyteller. I
Our
think
griot.
that I think that Natty would be the person that kind of, when we put markings on ourselves to identify ourselves and things of that nature, that's Natty. Like Natty is gifted, truly gifted in what he does.
Yeah,
So
man.
you got to respect it.
It's time to get some new ink.
We've said that a lot.
I know we really have. It's actually time for me to put the money behind it now.
Slaughterhouse Tattoos.
Hey, Slaughterhouse Tattoos. Shout out to Slaughterhouse Tattoos. That's gonna do it for us here at the Count See Me podcast. I'm gonna close out with saying, stop going back and forth with these niggas.
Hey.
If you run across racist white people and you can't punch them in the face, find their address, find their place of employment, and promptly send it to me so I can blast it out to everybody. And last but not least, as he said, protect your peace. As you said, protect your tribe. I'm gonna say, protect your heart, 3 Stacks.
Protect your heart.
Keep your heart. Because you know what? Sometimes when you have nothing else, your heart will keep you going. And I don't mean that in the physical sense. Your heart sometimes is the foundation and the source of your dreams. Keep it, protect it, and move forward with it. And with that being said, we'll catch y'all next year. Peace.
Yo.
Bye bye.